Hello, my name is Efer Özbay. I'm a mechanical engineering student in Bilkent University. Today, I will present my project, which I done for Physics 102. My purpose while doing this experiment was to find out how different materials behave under potential difference. To be more specific, I wanted to see if a material is conductive and how it behaves as a resistance. In this experiment, I worked with 4 objects, which are plastic, wood, aluminum, and copper. After that, I found out which of these materials are conductive. I calculated the resistivity of the conductive ones. Now, I will explain the objects that I use for my experiment and the procedure of my experiment. First, I used 2 measuring devices, 1 caliper, 0.05 millimeters precision, and a ruler, which is 50 centimeters. I used 4 objects. One is a copper object, this one is aluminum, this one is wood, and this one is plastic. I used a multimeter, as you can see, and the power supply right here. First, I used the measuring devices to measure the lengths and the cross-sectional areas of the objects. Then I connected this to the circuit I prepared, and then I measured the current passing through these objects. My setup is like the following. I use the power supply, crocodile cables to connect it to the resistance I will use, the resistor I will use. Then I connected it to a ampere meter, a multimeter, which is measuring the current, and then I connected it back to the power supply. As you can see, I'm using 1 volt, and the numbers are like this for this copper wire. As you can see, I'm not getting, I can calculate the current passing through this plastic object. I will turn off the power supply so you can see it more clearly. It shows the same value. The same thing applies for this wooden object also. As you can see, I can't get any measurements of current, so there's no current, no measurable current passing through this wooden object. As a result of my experiments, I found that plastic and wood are not conductive materials. However, aluminum and copper are conductive. For the sake of my experiment, I need to measure the cross-sectional area and the lengths of my parts, as you can see right here. So I'm gonna use a caliper to do this, to be more precise, as you can see. The measurements and the equations are like the following. The reason of the error percentage in my experiment is that the imperfect conditions in the laboratory, the mistakes I made in the measurements section, the connection of my crocodile cables being not perfect, and most importantly, my objects being not pure.